The Dode Fox Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Dode Fox Podcast. I'm Ronnie, he's Paul, and we are tasting sweet, sweet Dracula tears this weekend. In other news, we never quite got the call from OK or Hello magazine, but our pusses were in the paper on Thursday. Join the conversation on our socials. We're at Dode Fox Podcast on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Coming up on this week's episode, statements, wage cuts, how can we help? Halloween win, stay at Home Scrandesliga, who am I, two-page spread, the loan report, the women's team, the academy, and on this day with the Arab Archive. It's all coming up on episode 71 of the Dode Fox Podcast.
I'm Andy McLaren. Welcome to the Dode Fox Podcast.
So welcome back to the award-winning Dode Fox Podcast. It's episode 71. I don't know how long I can get away with saying that, like probably another week at most.
I'm bored with it, okay? But it's a fact. It's a fact. Not a Dode Fox fact, but it's a fact.
It's a real fact.
It's beginning to bore me. A real fact.
Fair enough. Right, fair enough. So we'll tell you more about the award-winning two-page spread that was in the papers this week, because obviously we couldn't enjoy our moment. There had to be another story that had to come out in the paper, leaked out the paper of 20% wage cuts and statements. We're back to the statement league table, it seemed, but it wasn't quite a statement. The chairman spoke. The rags had put it out the night before when it should have been kept in-house. But hey, it wasn't good to read.
It wasn't good to read, no. And my first thought was, I want to help. I want to do, what can I do to help this? Now, I'm no delusional thinking, well, I'll be able to plug this gap of what, £1 million shortfall or something. But I'm very much of the opinion that, every wee bit can help. If I can do a wee bit, if you can do a wee bit, if Christ, if Big Andy Crichton can do a wee bit, then it could all add up to something. So I would like to get our thinking heads together and see what we could come up with, because I don't think that the club will necessarily come out and say, right, well, what about if you do this? Because people might criticise them for that, rightly or wrongly. It's maybe going to have to come from the fans. And speaking personally, and only for myself, I'm more than happy to do it. United are more than a football team to me. Probably more than a football team to you, but you've got your other half in the house just now, so you have to keep your voice down when you agree with that. But I want to help any way I can. So whatever ideas that we can maybe come up with today, other ideas that we've stolen from the last couple of days on Twitter, on social media, they're all worth looking into to see what we can do.
I've got an idea for you I want to run by you.
Here it goes.
So, you and Andy done that wee walk. Obviously, it's something you're good at. How about you walk to Minnesota?
Aye, I'd be up for that.
Cool.
There's a wee, two questions. How do I negotiate the Atlantic
boat? And,
or a Lilo.
Yes.
Pedlo, whatever. Whatever's the cheapest, because we have to keep costs down. And what's your thinking for when we get to Minnesota? What have we got to do?
Just walk around and then walk back.
Okay.
See the sights.
Well, if people are willing to sponsor me to do that, I'm in. And I'm sure Crichton will be as well.
Of course he will be. Listen, I think overall, as a fan base, it maybe wasn't unexpected. I think some people said, I'm surprised it's maybe took so long. I think the chairman alluded to that. Maybe it's waited a bit longer. I think the big thing here is it should have been kept in-house. It's been leaked out somehow, which is no nice, because other clubs done it and kept it in-house and whatever else. I think obviously I mentioned that something, we're looking at a cost-cutting exercise, but when you're throwing around percentages and stuff, it's no nice. You know what I mean? Because it's people's livelihoods at stake in that. So, right away as a fan base, no one didn't expect it, wasn't shocked by it, but obviously the finance experts at other clubs, especially those that didn't exist for a while, was hilarious as always. Absolutely hilarious as always.
I know. It's something that, it's like these things get used as football banter these days, where other teams will jump on it and wish your team the illest of ills that you didn't get through this, and you hope that they go to the wall and all that nonsense. And I personally take that with a pinch of salt. But that, because that's Scottish football, that's the tribalism that we're all a part of in supporting United. And there'll be United fans that wish the illest of ills on like other teams. That's just the way it is. And for me, it's just part and parcel of it. But behind the scenes at the clubs, it would be great if the clubs were able to come together, because it's not just United that are feeling the pinch here. Everybody is feeling the pinch, whether it be from Celtic to East Fife or Albion Rovers or whoever. Everybody will be struggling just now. Everybody. And as you touched on, the one surprise for me was that it's been so long in happening, because most other teams, and we've joked about it with Hibs, like Hibs announced it in the summer, I think, that they were getting rid of however many people, the youth team, but then they were splashing cash. They were splashing cash on bringing players in. I think just up the road, the wee team, they got rid of their youth coaches, and then they brought in Charlie Adam, and I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, because Charlie Adam might be playing for free. I don't again, but it's the perception. When you're binning when you're binning some staff or whatever, or when you're giving them wage cuts and then you bring other people in. And again, the perception is that United have done that. United have recently brought in Fuchs and McNulty. We've brought in Edwards recently. Pardon me, we've got Bolton on loan. And people are saying, but because one of the reports was, we're going to be asking our players to take X amount of percentage wage cut, but no these guys. Now, I don't know if that's true. And even if it is, it's a far from ideal situation. The loan one is the strange one, because I would imagine a loan agreement is between United and the club rather than United and Bolton. I don't think United pay Bolton. I would imagine we would have to pay Man City if we're paying anything. You just don't know. You're speculating on this. And then once the news broke, it came out whereby it was, the players aren't happy about this, and that's what I'm hearing. Well, let's be honest here. If your boss comes to you and says, "Here, Ron, any chance you could take 20% pay cut?"
My boss did.
I can't. Well, yeah, but you weren't doing cartwheels, were you?
No, I was not.
No, nobody's happy about taking a wage cut. Nobody's happy about taking a wage cut, and there'll be players that can't afford to do it, and there'll be players that maybe can't afford to do it. So I wouldn't be throwing any of them under any buses. If no matter how they react to it, I would imagine as a squad they might come to a unanimous agreement. But again, I'm just guessing at that. I don't think it'll be individually yes, no. I think there'll be dissenting voices, and there'll be guys that are like, well, look, it's for the greater good. And that might even have already happened. We don't know. But it was a surprise that it took so long. I think United, to be fair to them, they were probably hoping that by this stage of the year, fans would be back in, so that they could maybe see this coming, because that's been an accusation that's been levelled at them. Well, you can't be signing, boys, and then thinking a couple of weeks later, we're just going to cut wages. Maybe they were of the opinion that we were going to have fans back in by this point. But United are missing out on so much money. Like this season alone, we've already had Celtic, Hibs, and Aberdeen at home. Now, I don't know if they'd all be sellouts, but they wouldn't be far off it. And that's because Aberdeen always bring millions to Tannadice, if you believe them. Celtic would always fill their allocation. And when we played Hibs were going great. So they would have brought a lot as well. And then you've got all the hospitality on top of that. It's a lot of money, just thinking about it, it's probably about $500,000 alone.
It's not just that, it's the passing trade as well, going past the shop.
Exactly.
Everything's
done. Everything's done. Everything is done. So, as I said at the very start, it would be good if I could do something to help. I'm not sure what. I'm not a millionaire, so I can't just throw money about willy-nilly. But it would also be good because the chairman touched on the fact that there's no any real help for the government. It would be good if the clubs could come together behind the scenes, the chairman and chairwomen of all the clubs, and maybe go to the government and say, look, these football teams are massive in the communities. They get people through dark days, the untold joy, untold misery, I suppose, depending on if your team's won or played well. It's more than a club. It's more than a football team, I think. And we're getting all political. I don't know. I don't think that the government that are in just now, and I'm not saying I'm for them or against them, but I don't think they really care. I think they've got, and you know what, they've got bigger fish to fry, I guess. There's no doubt about that, but we need some assistance because it's on the back of their regulations that we can't make money because they're saying you're not allowed fans in the ground. So something's got to give somewhere. But in the interim period, I'm more than happy to do whatever I can to help, and I'm sure there's loads of boys in the same boat.
Obviously, last night, the raggy doll fuckwit for number 10 was forced into making changes down in England, and what's come out of that, and the back of that, is that the furlough scheme is going to be extended in November and will include Scotland. Maybe that's something the club can look at. A set amount of employees maybe can go on that. I mean, somebody might joke that some of our players have been on furlough the last few weeks, but you know what I mean? It's something, it's another scheme that's there. You know, if academy games are going to get scrapped for a few weeks, is it something you can look at? You know, is there other, I mean, again, it's just the furlough scheme's there. It's maybe something that needs to be doing, because it's the same as initially the 80%, I believe, for the whole of November, because obviously England's going into lockdown for 4 weeks or so. Maybe it's something there that can be done. Some of the ideas that we've seen, and I know loads of people have done it, you know, buying a pie in Bovril every week, sort of virtually online. I mean, I don't know what that costs at Tannadice with inflation and that. Is it about £8.50? Is that what we're looking at?
No,
fiver?
You wouldn't fiver, a fiver.
You know, what could we say? Could we sell signed shirts? I mean, somebody might buy a signed Shankland shirt. You get a wee bit more money out of that. Match worn shirt. Match worn shirts. You can also do a weekly donation. One, Alan Watson had a really good idea that we've clearly want to bump. Was a virtual sellout. Is every week put 14,000 tickets on sale for a fiver. You sell 14,000, you make 70 grand, and then why no? Out of that 70 grand, I'm pretty sure we'll get a load of shirts for nothing for Macron. Some signed shirts up for grabs every week. £5 a week or whatever. It's not going to cost, even if you had to pay for them, 250 quid, say, coming off a 70 grand. It's not bad, but I'm not saying we'll sell out every week, but even half of that, 35 grand a week, able to go back into the club. It's an idea. Listen, I agree with you. It might not be something the club lead. If it's something we can get involved in, you know, and put our voice behind them, we'll do it. You know, we'll certainly get behind it. Anything like that. Or does Abdi just join the foundation, the Supporters Foundation, if they're going to keep putting money in? I don't know. Yeah,
there's that option. You've also got the issue that's about an elephant in the room with the season tickets, because you're going to get a 1/19th credit for every game after the first 2 or 3, I think. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3. But for next season. So, I mean, me personally, and I'll put it out there, I'm not going to be looking for any money back or any credits, and I will be buying next season's season ticket as well. I already am. I'm paying it up anyway. But maybe the club need to find out if there's more like-minded people for that, so that they can maybe plan ahead a wee bit. I don't know. I mean, smarter people than me run the football club, but it's just that is quite a big looming issue, you would think, because I mean, I can't see fans getting in the ground any time this season. And even if we do, it's going to be numbers that are so low that these guys that are in the ground have already paid. Nobody else is going to be paying in. And I'd be surprised if the wee shop inside to get a pie and a Bovril is actually open. I'd be very, very surprised at that. So
I think with obviously they're doing some of the test events, and I know obviously with this new tiered system that's coming in and whatever else, and hopefully some of them do. I think Ross County might have the go-ahead next week because they're quite low up in the Highlands, which is great. You know, they can do that. I'm totally with you. It will be season ticket holders and all that get in. I just think being able to do these small events initially will give some people, like you're saying, that release a get into the football. Now, this whole bullshit about it's the travelling to the games, it's this, it's that. I'm not joking. There's boys doing curry backs and Lidl on me on a Thursday night to get into the half price ham. It's like, come on, he's a break, man.
That's because you're famous.
Honestly, I thought the boy at the checkout on Thursday night, I thought he was whispering sweet nothings into my ear. He was that close to me, and he wasn't. He was just standing right behind us. But that's the same. Going to the cinema, all these type of things. How can we not sit outside at the football now? Where I sit, at the back of the Jerry Kerr, beside the press, it's all socially distanced. It's no bother. It's no problem. I don't know why the government have got, because these people are doing their work, and I'm not going to go at them, by the way. They're doing their work. I'm doing my work. We'll get to yesterday's faux pas. How can that no be in the opposite stand opposite me? How can there no be 300, 500 people? It doesn't make
I don't know. I don't know. To play devil's advocate on that one, like the countries where fans have been allowed in the ground, like you think Germany, France.
Stupid amounts, though. Stupid amounts. There's 20,000 at Dortmund.
Yeah, possibly. But that's another part of the argument, I suppose. But these countries are now going back into lockdown, and I'm not blaming that on football, far from it, but there might be a correlation there. So, in the fullness of time, we might look back on this and think, well, we were given the best guidance, but it doesn't seem that way just now because you're so frustrated. You just want to get into the ground and you want to see your team. But the bottom line, we're struggling financially, and we need to kind of muck in and see what we could do. We're never going to fill the black hole of however much we're hemorrhaging for this season alone. But anything can help. Anything can help.
Listen, we're not going to be. We don't have the answers. We're not going to be the answer to the problem either. We probably help that problem. But as fans, and I think we can speak on behalf of a lot of the fans, is unlike other teams, I would hope we will not sit back and watch our club go to the wall. We will not sit back and watch our club fall. We will not sit back and watch our club die. We will
not a chance.
Be there.
There's not a chance.
So
there's not a chance.
If there's something needs set up that can get something rolling, be it a virtual sellout when we're going to put tickets on sale every week for $5, then let's get involved. If people want to get involved in that idea, be it Alan Watson, ourselves, anybody else, let's get in touch. Let's speak to each other over the wonder of Zoom, and let's put something in motion. It's something that if we can do a wee bit. Listen, if we could do something, and I don't know, throw a figure out there and raise $5,000 a week to help the football club, it's $5,000 a week we've not got. Again, It's a lot of money. I mean, that's pocket change to you, Paul, obviously, but
clearly.
If we can do something like that, it would be great. And if people want to drop in DMs and we need to set a wee group up to get something, then let's do it. Or if the foundation, maybe, I would imagine they might release a statement this week about something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much they've got. I know they've invested in loads of stuff this year. I know they've $100,000 was given out earlier on. I don't know. But hey, it might be. There's loads of different ideas. Like I say, it could be stuff like selling some match worn shirts. Obviously for more money than they cost, but we know where it's going. Even if you get a deal with a framing company, you maybe sell the whole thing for £100. Christmas round the corner, it's a beautiful gift.
We still do the lottery and the 50-50. Still do that, don't we?
Yeah.
See, maybe that needs to be pushed more because it's probably
we mention it every week.
I know, yeah, but that's once a week. But maybe it needs to be pushed a little more because it might be more palatable to people to say, right, okay, I'll give the club £5 a week on the off chance that you actually win something back. And that again goes into the virtual sellout. If you put £5 in, you've got the chance of maybe winning a match-worn shirt for the boy that scores the winning goal.
Listen, I think if you're doing something like that virtual set, I think if there's something up for grabs every week, I'll set a stand number for £5 a week. No bother.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Me too, yeah.
It's that thing, and we'll get to this. I don't know what people spend on the Stay at Home Scrandesliga, but it looks a lot more than a feather, some of the things that we see, and I know we'll discuss that before it comes up. But listen, it might be an idea. We don't have the answers. We're just stealing your ideas and kind of putting them out there maybe for more people that might see them, but they're the same kind of thing we had, about a donation, a buying a Bovril,
buying pay-per-views. There was a couple of boys that done that.
Yeah.
For other punters yesterday.
Yeah, which is it's big money. It's not cheap.
No,
know.
But again, it's a few bucks that the club wouldn't have had if people wouldn't have done that. So, yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully, something comes of people listening to me and you talking absolute nonsense about this for 10, 15 minutes or however long we've been doing it, and some smart bugger can come up with a great suggestion. But the virtual sellout, I do like that. I also like just boosting the 50-50, putting it out there more so we could pay into that so that you've got a chance of winning something. Just whatever's going to help. Whatever is a decent idea and is going to help, I'm fully behind it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure there'll be more on that over the coming weeks. I know Mark Reynolds did say there was no real panic at the moment. People know the situation. I'm sure it'll. Sorry, but let's see what we can do in the coming weeks to help. Right, can we finally look at our match? Because we did play this weekend, by the way.
Did we?
We did.
What was the score?
So the Highlanders of Dingwall were in town. Both teams known for scoring goals of late.
Recently.
So it's obviously going to be a cracker. And team lineups come out, and everyone has their opinion. We all think we're Mickey Mellon. And I spent most of the time convinced we were going to a 4-4-2. And then I saw someone at the end of the warm-up and I thought, I think we might start with 3 at the back. Now, we did. But as soon as the penalty was awarded, after about 11 minutes, we did go to a 4 at the back. And I thought we looked pretty comfy in the 4-4-2 as it was. Really important yesterday to get a goal, obviously. And was it good or bad to get it so early? I was delighted we got that goal early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was to go back to when the team lineup came up. I was a little bit shocked that Connolly wasn't there because I felt it was a bit strange to change the defence that hadn't conceded for 3 games. But he wasn't even on the bench, so I can only assume that he's ill or he had an injury. The Butcher's coming straight back in for Powers. I felt a bit for Powers, if I'm honest. I don't think he was that bad last week. I kind of like what he can bring to the team. But yeah, the start, I didn't think we made the best start to the game. I think we were kind of, I'm not sure if we sat back or if we were hemmed in for the first wee while until the penalty. But from the penalty, it was just a different game. And the penalty itself, by the way, hilarious.
Ian Viger's the juggler.
Hilarious. Nah, never seen nothing like it. But I'm going to throw the Arab Zone or the DUTV commentator Davy Hill under the bus here because he said that the ball got caught between the boy's hand and his thigh. Now, Davy, I'm taking for that you didn't go to biology in school because that was clearly stuck on the boy's back. And he didn't even care what it was. It was a dog chasing its tail stuff. It was absolutely hilarious. But it was a good start. And from that point on, I felt it was fairly comfortable in the first half. We could have scored one of the goals of the season if Pollitt had kind of curled it like 1 yard more to the right. Oh, that was some move. I'm not sure if we ever had the ball under control, but it was some move.
Well, we had there was 3 real good opportunities for Peter Pollitt, who I have to say I think are his best game of the season, and people are arguing probably one of his best games for United. But I think because he was in the hole essentially to start with, then moved out wide left. And I thought he was really good yesterday. There was obviously that move that you thought we were vintage Barcelona at one point. There was also when he went on the run past Cole Donaldson, was an absolute dope anyway. And then he had a bit of a poor touch. And then he had the wee flick when I got crossed into him at near post.
Yeah.
I thought he played really well.
That's not even half a chance. The wee flick's not even half a chance. If that goes in, you're milking that goal for years. But no, Pollitt was very good yesterday. Mm-hmm. He was very good, yeah.
And I thought, again, the midfield, well, it was a 4. I need to get in the said it was a 4 once we changed. But I thought Harts played well yesterday. I thought Butcher was excellent yesterday. And the Nicky Clark, Lawrence Shankland partnership, it's definitely something that really works. I thought Shankland, again, he gets frustrated when the ball doesn't come in, but his hold-up play was really good. He dropped back sometimes. He took another shot for 40 yards for no reason, which I like.
Frustration.
Yeah, really frustrated, but he was so much more involved yesterday than other games. He just needs that goal. Nicky Clark is on a good run of scoring penalties, so I understand why he took it. But I think Shankland needs a wee goal just to get going again, given these sleepless nights he's getting. No, because he's not scored a goal.
No, I know. No, I felt there was a few boys saying that he was poor yesterday. I didn't feel he was poor, but it was more his performance contributed to a half decent team performance rather than he was the star man at the tip of the spear scoring the goals. But he done a job yesterday. But his job in that team, like make no mistake, is to finish chances. But he's not getting any chances. But he didn't play rubbish yesterday. He wasn't his usual good self, but I feel like he done a job. The one player who I think had his poorest game for us, and obviously I'm going to be the bad cop again here, but I didn't think Bolton was great yesterday, and I'm gonna let that slide because he's been one of the better players overall, I feel, but he just wasn't in the game much yesterday. I didn't think he probably, you know what, if you look at the amount of yards that he's probably covered quite a lot because he did put the effort in, but he didn't. There wasn't much coming off him going forward, and that to me is his strength. That's something that I've said for a few weeks. I wish he was played a wee bit further forward, but he didn't have one of his better games yesterday.
I thought you'd done all right.
There we go. So it's all opinions, isn't it?
I genuinely thought yesterday was probably one of our. And listen, you can only beat what's in front of you, but I thought it was one of the most complete performances we had, attack and defence. I know. Listen, we lost a sloppy goal, right? And people are going, look at Butcher for this. Look at. You could blame MD. It's 3 passes. That's the frustrating thing. 3 passes from back to front, and they've scored.
Straight passes.
Right? Yeah. Lapse of concentration. Maybe no closing down. No just taking the chance of sticking a leg out. Getting turned a wee bit. Listen, the striker's going to outrun your 2 centre halves. You know, and it happened. And then Benji gets nutmegged. It's fine. Right? We're 2-1 up. I was confident enough we'd see the game as long as we can battle away. The boy Ross Stewart for Ross County, biggest boy in the park, and he's playing wide right at times, putting balls in the box. I was delighted by that. That the biggest player was the biggest threat wasn't there. But overall, I thought we played pretty well. Second goal.
You've had a shocker, have you?
No, I've not had a shocker. Because
you've had a shocker.
If it's not coming off his chest or his chin, that's 70, 80 yards away from me, how am I meant to ken?
No.
On the day that we lost, Sir Sean Connery and the ginger James Bond stepped up to score. It was written.
It was almost poetic.
Of course it was.
It was almost poetic.
And no, Nicky Clark had to steal it. And I tell you what happened. So there was a wee bit of confusion, obviously, because we're like, is it Reynolds?
Not anybody else.
No, there was. Is it Reynolds? It's Reynolds. I'm asking people, and people are like, it's Reynolds. Every single person in the press is convinced it's Reynolds.
What was in the press? Willie Miller. You agreeing with Willie Miller?
No, I was not. So I announce goal scorer for United is number 6, Mark Reynolds. As I look down at the halfway line, and Nicky Clark, I think's offering us a square go. His hands in the air, offering us a square go, and I'm like, how is that his goal? How is it? Then 20 minutes later, I get to see the goal. I'm like, all right, so it's skiffed his chest. Like it's a skiffy. It's a skiffed off his chest. So then I corrected it when he got subbed and said he scored the second goal. The correct goal scorer of the second goal. But it doesn't matter how they go, and it could have went in off his arse. He could have put it in his cock. It wouldn't have mattered. It's a goal, right?
It was great. I enjoyed it for a number of reasons because, firstly, when the ball falls to Reynolds, I'm thinking, yes, James Bond is going to score a goal here on such an occasion. And then it hit Clark and it went in, and I thought, that's cool. And then there was he's offside. And I was like, Kenmont, there's no VAR. I hope he was offside. Get it up, yeah. And then they show the replay, and lo and behold, it's the arsehole's arsehole, Carl Donaldson, that is playing him on. Could not be any sweeter to me. And that boy should have got booking in the first half. We have glossed over that. I was raging. And it's always Pollitt, because it was him that injured Pollitt when we beat them 3-0 in that playoff game, and it was almost on the same spot of the turf as well. He's a prick. And he's getting it tight next time I see him at Tannadice. I'll be front row.
Someone
rating him for 90 minutes.
Someone said yesterday that's 6 games he's played at Tannadice and no one yet, I think.
That probably includes games for us.
Probably. We've teamed up with Arab Analytics, which are at Arab Analytics over on Twitter, to get some stats, facts and data, basically to back up if we are talking absolute shite or the truth. But some of them are really interesting. Now, we call it with the eye, but some of these are really interesting. I'm gonna just throw out there. I know some of them are out there already. One of them I thought was really interesting. You know, we've seen on social media that we keep the ball at the back too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
most teams do these days.
Yeah, well, there were only 5 passes between Reynolds and Edwards yesterday compared to previous weeks when there were 14 between Reynolds and Connolly and Edwards against St Johnstone, and there was 13 between the three of them against Aberdeen. So you know, we weren't maybe keeping it so much at the back. We were getting the ball through the lines or whatever. This is not going to make any sense to simpletons like me and you, Paul, but our esteemed audience will understand this. There's a metric called match tempo. It's calculated by the number of team passes per minute of ball possession. United recorded their second lowest number of the season for this, which is 14.11, which basically means it was the second quickest that they've passed the ball around. And I think we played with a higher tempo yesterday. We did.
Right over my head there, Ron.
I'm aware.
And I'm tall.
Paula attempted 5 dribbles, 3 of them successful in the game yesterday, the equal most, with Hibs being the other game that he's attempted in any game this season. 48% of Ian Harkes' passes were forward passes, the second highest percentage of forward passes for the season so far from him. You kind of did sing his praises in the group chat today, wasn't it? You were saying but he did. I thought he was his best game in a while.
Yeah, I was half joking. I was giving him man of the match in our group chat, but that's because people were jumping on him and I felt the need to stick up for him. But yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's been great of late, but I didn't think he was bad yesterday. He certainly contributed to an overall good performance.
The overall takeaway from the stats is that things were much better yesterday without getting too carried away. Still a lot of areas that could be better. I think everyone will know that. United didn't have as much of the ball, and the accuracy of the passing wasn't great, but when they did have the ball, there was more intent to get it forwards, the general tempo was quicker, and we got the ball into the final third more often. Obviously, some of that's dictated by the quality of opposition, but plenty to be positive about that performance. So thank you very much to @ArabAnalytics over on Twitter that made me sound much more intelligent for the past 2 minutes than I ever have at 71 episodes.
It's very true.
Man of the match.
It was a hard one.
That's not.
I'm not really sure. Yeah, well, possibly, but I'm not really sure because it's been easy the last few weeks. Just like 5 minutes before the game, just give it to Benji because you know that he's going to be the busiest player in our team. But
he didn't have much yesterday. Nothing.
He didn't. He didn't. Like there was a few crosses that I would like to see him win a lot more easily because he seems to get smaller when he comes for a cross or he's reaching. You know, he's at his absolute tips or his fingers to try and get that ball. Benji, you're massive. Boys are going to shite themselves when you come out for that bar. But no, he didn't really have much to do yesterday. What he done, it was competent enough. Man of the match, I don't know. Like Liam Smith had a good game, I felt, considering he's been out for quite some time, and I feel like we've missed him. Yeah, I'm going to absolutely bottle picking a man of the match. I didn't really have one. If you put a gun to my head, I would say Liam Smith, but I'm probably wrong.
No, didn't you put the gun to your head and I got that. We didn't see much yesterday, given he only got 13 minutes, but it was nice to finally see Yando Fuchs make his debut as Mr. Loverboy was replaced with 13 minutes to go. It's never going to be easy coming into a team, but I think after the first few minutes of running about and finding his feet, he started to learn where he had to be, put his foot in a couple of times, had some nice wee touches, and you know, I think he's going to offer something different. And you know, it was a tough role to come in, you know, play alongside Butcher. He's quite established with the Hearts partnership and stuff, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of him as he goes. Same with Adrian Sporla, got 18 minutes after a bit of injury as well. Good to see. But Jando Fuchs, our new number 66.
Yeah, what is all that about? We need to get him on the podcast and ask him, Jando, what are you thinking with 66? He done all right, but you can't take anything. You don't know how he's going to be going forward on the back of seeing him for 13 minutes, but it was good to see him, finally. Yeah.
Right, the most important part of any match day is, of course, what is getting shoveled down our throats. Do you want to kick us off? What was your stay-at-home Scrandesliga for yesterday's match?
Mine's was, I'm going to get a wee bit boring now. I was back at Ruffy and Fraser's, and I just had a tatty and bean pie and a short crust bridie, both delicious.
Oven or microwave?
And they were in the oven, yeah. A wee bit of preparation goes in there, obviously. 25 minutes on the clock, boom, get them in the oven, get them ready for half time. But I don't know, I'm letting the whole Scrandesliga down because I'm just saying pies, you know. I'm keeping it traditional.
Well,
but some of the things that you're going to read it are phenomenal.
So,
crack on.
As always, thank you very much for people that are getting involved in this. It's a great laugh. It's horrendous sitting at the match, by the way, with a Dode Fox podcast water bottle filled just with water, and that's it, and nothing else. And people are then diving in with some of this stuff. The hashtag Scrandesliga, by the way, was trending in Scotland yesterday.
It's mental.
So there's loads to get through. I'll get through as many without taking up loads and loads of time, right? But if you they are all on our Twitter. We've retweeted, I would imagine, about 90% of them. Go on and look at some of the Scran that's on offer yesterday. I have to start by you saying you're boring with pie and bridie. Let me take you across Europe right now to the Czech Republic.
Prague.
To the man that is Samson. And just bear with me with this. Whole rabbit for the butchers, lads. Carrot, onion, tarragon, shitload of thyme, white wine and whole grain mustard. Get that roaster off and serve it with crushed potatoes and a wee whiskey cream sauce. It's a massive get it up yous from me.
He got pulled up about the crushed potatoes because boys were like, what's the difference between crushed potatoes and mashed potatoes? And he says they're just not mashed that much. It's like stood on ties or something. Sounds great though. Sounds great.
Somewhere in between no fully intact but no fully mashed. Oh, Jesus. So that was very amusing. That was the first one that we got in yesterday, and then it kind of went pretty mad. Brian Mackay, you're a pre-match Scrandesliga. Pork sausages, tatty scone, egg, beans and bread and butter. Caribbean crush for a drink. Levi Roots Caribbean crush. Grapefruit, mango and pineapple. Well, maybe.
That's a knockoff lilt if ever I've heard it.
That's kind of what I was getting at there. That's what I thought. Ali Stewart, Scott Brothers, stovies with oat cakes and brown sauce, a side of Bovril. What a man. Dave Muir, today's Scrandesliga is homemade chicken tikka on a pita, Papa Dom Walkers, and the giant Watsits crisps. They're the bomb, by the way. The giant Watsits flaming hot are tackle. You had an Aldi chalk chip brioche, and you had his favourite chocolate, which is a Turkish delight and a fresh raspberry cream. Get out. And
What's wrong with that?
Get away. And a Corona. Raz the Arab, nae super noodles on a roll for me today. It was chicken curry pies instead. Now, chicken curry pies, he puts tomato sauce on them.
That is a disgrace. That is a straight red.
That's bouffing.
I don't mean that's not on like. That is a straight red. 2 weeks suspension to be the Scrandesliga for that.
Callum's currently at work. He was getting them, and these were getting him through. He was on the Iron Brew Pastels. Maybe feeling pretty rough there. Zebra 4 come in on the back of that and said the Iron Brew bonbons are like little balls of orange cocaine. Probably.
Probably.
Robbie Grieve, today's Scrandesliga lineup courtesy of Goodies and Asda. Strong formation starting at the back, likely building through the donut middle onto the biscuit flanks, guaranteed indigestion at full time. He basically laid out a 4-4-2 formation that had an Indian style meal for two in goal. He had 4 buds in the back 4. He had 12 fudge donuts in centre midfield. And he had 3, it looks like 3 Belgian biscuits, and then it looks like a Halloween Belgian biscuit up front, but good banter that.
Lone striker.
Brilliant. Mike Gold, couple of mince and tatty pies for Thanes in Aberdeen. Thanes or Thanes? I'm not sure. Nae beans in the house. Schoolboy error. Added ketchup but pure substitute. Eddie Ritchie, 2 triple cheeseburgers and a latte. Skipped breakfast. Mon United.
Allegedly skipped breakfast.
Michael Craig, we need to hear words. We need to hear words.
Is this the scrambled eggs and mushrooms?
Correct.
I was not happy with this.
Scrambled egg on toast, I'll give you. I'll even give you some mushrooms. I'm not giving you how much fungi you've got at the top of them.
He's got a whole garden full of mushrooms on that toast.
And then he washes it down with a star of pramen. What a man. What a man. Tom Dolan had last night's Domino's pizza and a rice pudding. Boufen. Jesus. George Fraser was keeping it simple. Cornish pasty with brown sauce with a nod to Sir Sean. He basically wrote 007 in brown sauce.
Lovely.
Keithy boy, to celebrate my first ever post in the Scrandesliga. Nichols pie and the opening of my named whiskey. Oh, he's got an awfully nice single malt there. He might have never seen half time. What else have I got? George Duncan had the lunch of champions, which was beans and pork sausages. What else have I got? I've got a few more. Ian White got gone all southern today with crawfish. I can't even pronounce that, but it looks, it basically looks like a stew. A spicy stew. That's what we'll say it is.
Well, that's what we'll say it is. Because
I've no idea. And let's pick one more. Right. Here's the final end for the day. Right, they're all on our Twitter, by the way, at Dode Fox Podcast. Dunk. I need to settle.
This is not the final end. No. You've missed out one. But I'll let you go with this.
So Dunk at Dode Fox Podcast # Scrandesliga. Cheese and spam toasties.
Winner. That's a man for the streets of Dundee right there. That was a tea back in the day.
Anyway.
You've changed, but you've also missed out.
Oh, God.
The one that you sent me. You sent it to me in a WhatsApp message. You were that impressed. For Coach Hill 14.
Oh, the burger.
The burger. Jesus Christ, you need a staircase to get from the bottom to the top of that burger. It's super impressive, and me and you need to get our arses down to wherever the hell that was purchased.
It was in our
bro. We're not sharing them, we'll get in each.
Yeah. There was homemade pork and black pudding sausage rolls yesterday. That was Laurie Hill's burger, yeah. Mock chopped, by the way. He had peanut M&Ms and beer while doing some script writing. And
nice
well, if we'll mention him when we're on about the double page spread, because he sent us a tweet that we're glad he's never fallen through with so far. But loads of people getting involved. Thank you very much. Like I say, there was absolutely loads. I got a lot of stick for mine.
Cold pie.
Well, it looked awfully anemic. It was like an albino pie.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you how? Because it was cold.
I'm more than aware it was cold. I'm more than aware of where you got it as well.
Yeah, it was dished up for Ali Heather. He was on that and a fudge yum yum, by the way.
Well, that's decent. Decent scran.
It was dynamite. But thank you very much to everyone who did get in touch. But get on Twitter and get a look through them, because they are absolutely brilliant. I saw packets of Space Raiders. I saw some more of that fancy shite beer chasers. People are into their chasers just now. I'm really liking that. But as always, thank you very much. The COVID FC are where we're heading on Friday night. I expect more of the same yesterday is what we're looking for again. And another 3 points.
Got to be aiming for that. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Who knows what sort of team they're going to have. I don't know if they're going to have anybody else in quarantine, if they've got Abdi out of quarantine. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to get through there. But I'm looking forward to it. You always do after you've had a win and a decent performance. So, yeah, we'll go through there. Need to be looking to try and get 3 points. It's, I believe it's not on the TV. Like we said the last time there was a Friday night game.
For Scotland.
It's because of Scotland coming up the couple of days after it. So, yes, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking for 3 points.
And just a quick mention of the league table, by the way, we're up to 5th. Can we book our flights for Europe now, or what?
Not yet, no, because the world has stopped spinning around. There is a pandemic.
My passport looked through the lot, tap off and everything.
Put it away.
13 games played, 16 points. obviously a lot of teams under us with games in hand that we could drop down a little bit. But the most important thing is we're getting a wee bit of daylight between us and sort of 10th, 11th, 12th. Like saying St Mirren, they've got 3 games in hand over us. But it looks like because there's not that many free weeks, they're going to be playing quite consistently. Saturday, Wednesday or whatever.
I think it's better to have the points, especially just now, because as you say, if they get another outbreak then and fall 1 game behind again,
chuck them out.
You're playing 3, maybe 4 games in 1 week at some point of the season. So I would rather be where we are than where they are with games in hand.
So if you needed anything to stop the geysers coming to your door last night, there was a issues of the Courier and the Evening Telegraph produced on Thursday that included our pusses.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite the phone call for OK or Hello magazine, but we took Callum Woodger's call and he said, "Oh, lads, come and chat some shite to us for a few minutes." And then, well, he ended up getting probably a lot more than he thought he would.
Yes, no, it was good fun. It was good fun meeting outside the Tannadice. I've now got a profile for my Tinder, so I'll be using that at some point, ladies and gents. And it was good. It was nice. It was a great article as well. I never thought that it would be a 2-page spread. A couple of fannies for Dundee speaking about football, but there you go. What do I know?
Yeah, no, it was good fun. So we tweeted out whatever, but it was really nice to get, and I couldn't even answer the phone on Thursday night because my phone was under other copies of the Courier and the telly that I'd bought. I take it your mum went out and bought a few.
73 at last count. Yeah,
that's pretty good. But yeah, it was on the back of us, fortunately winning the award, the Scots Media Person of the Year award, the Scots Language Awards. Last Saturday, and we got to chat a wee bit about the past, the present, the future of the podcast, which was cool. I think Callum realised that this is just us as we are, regardless of where. We're just speaking about our club, which is great. There's a lot in there in terms of the info of how it came about, if people don't know. And obviously, Paul, you were very honest with a lot of people listening to the first episode. They never listened to the second episode, and you thought it was shite.
Yeah, it must have been. People aren't wrong, are they? Customer's always right.
yeah, it's very true. But yeah, there's bits in there. We even got to mention the Scrandesliga. Your photo with the Scrandesliga turned up in one of the photos as well, which was great. And there's a wee bit at the end is of the idea that we had. We were looking to do an episode recording live. People have asked, Ken, is it something we would consider? And yes, it's something we would have liked to. We were kind of hoping to do it before Christmas, but that's kind of put paid with this tiered system and all that shite that's going on. So we need to look after ourselves, keep healthy and stuff, and then it's maybe something we'll do next year, because I think it could be a lot of fun. So it is something that is in the pipeline. 20 people or something there to watch how simple this is for us to
talk. Hecklers though. Hecklers at all, because I'll go around. I'll panic.
And you didn't need to tell us we're talking shite, because we know. But thanks again to Callum for that. Mock Chop tweeted with. What did he say?
He just said he's too busy to make look like a couple of bigger clowns than we already make ourselves look like.
Yeah, but
in short,
it was kind of the situation he wanted to put in. He basically said that the most frustrating part of the entire article is he's far too busy to cut us both out of the main photo, which is the one we're standing in front of the Tannadice Park sign with our hands in the air, fists clenched, celebrating. And he said he'd like to cut us out of that, place us in front and centre in a 1970s porn set, and then pop an array of impressively girthed sex toys into our grubby mitts in order to recreate our awards after party.
Yeah, I can't speak for you, Ron, but I was delighted that he never followed through with that idea, because I've got a son that would possibly see that, and that's not cool. So I was happy. I'm happy that he's writing scripts these days and no ripping the piss.
But thank you very much for the thought.
Correct.
Right.
We'll take that.
Let's move on. Women's Team Academy on your loan report.
Yes, we'll go with a loan report at this start. So Kieran Freeman, again, he's at Peterhead. Kieran got the full 90 minutes yesterday as Peterhead had a rare victory away to Clyde. He was part of a backline that kept our cup final hero, David Goodwillie, quiet and off the score sheet as his team ran out 2-0 winners. That was Peterhead's first league win of the season, and they are now off the bottom of League One. Ross Graham at Cove Rangers. Ross started the match on the bench, but he did come on for the last 13 minutes to help his team keep a clean sheet. Cove won the match 1-0 with a last-minute goal from Rory McAllister. And I don't care about you, Ron, but I would have loved to see Ian McCall's face at full time. Archie Meekison at Spartans. So after his starring role last week, young Arch was relegated to the bench for this weekend's match away at East Kilbride. He has come on in the 68th minute when his team were 1-0 down, and not long after that they then went 2-0 down. In the 80th minute of the match, some good play by Archie has resulted in him being upended in the penalty box, and he himself has stepped up to take it. Unfortunately, he has done the very Dundee United thing from a couple of years ago of missing the resultant penalty, and as such, the match finished 2-0 to the East Kilbriders. Jake Davidson over in Ireland at Waterford. Jake and his Waterford teammates had a big win last week by defeating Dundalk 1-0. Jake again played very well, and the win lifted Waterford above Dundalk in the league table and into third position. For this week, I can't report on his game because it hasn't taken place yet. He is part of the team that is away to Finn Harps on Sunday evening, and looking at the league table, I'd be willing to bet they'll probably win that game too, because Finn Harps are near the bottom and more than likely Keith. Cammy Smith at Ayr. Sounded like a beezer of a game down at Capello on Saturday as loanee Cammy Smith once again made the starting lineup for the Honest Men. Ayr went 1-up in 32 minutes with an own goal from Lewis Strapp. They then went down to 10 men in the 52nd minute when Aaron Muirhead was shown a straight red card. Worry not though, as Cammy Smith himself popped up in the 74th minute to, you would think, secure all 3 points for Ayr United at a tricky away venue. Think again, Ron. Morton scored goals in the 83rd, the 85th and 88th minute, with their winner being from Lewis Strapp, making up for his earlier own goal to steal the 3 points from Ayr. Cammy himself was obviously on the score sheet and has played well again before being subbed off in the 86th minute of that match. Chris Mockery, Montrose. This was the battle of the loanees that never materialised as young Hottie at Forfar wasn't a part of their squad for whatever reason, possibly injured. So it was Forfar at home to Montrose. Mockery was in the starting lineup for Montrose. He played the full 90 minutes. It was a game that ebbed and flowed from end to end, with one team taking the lead before the other would pull it back. But in the end, it was a great piece of play from Mockery, laying it off to his teammate, who then dispatched a driven effort into the bottom corner of the net in the 93rd minute to give Montrose a 3-2 win in the Angus Derby. Quality. That's the loan report. And before I move on to the women's team, it was good to see the club themselves put out a loan report. I think it went out on Monday of last week, and there was a few people commented on that, saying I'll probably be disappointed with this. Not at all. The only thing that disappoints me is if they could put it out. So if you're listening, Dundee United, if you could put it out Saturday night, that would be brilliant. And I'll just copy it. I didn't have to do any work whatsoever. I didn't have to watch highlights of Duff games. I will just copy, use word for word. The women's team. So last week, the women were away at Partick and I predicted a victory for them. But typically, I was bloody wrong. The match finished 1-1 with centre-half Jade McLaren scoring for United. Today, the team are in action at home against Stirling Uni, and they also have a midweek fixture, also at home against Glasgow. The plan is to try and stream some games this season, and they're going to be testing this out in today's game against Stirling with the hope that it can be up and running for the midweek fixture. And finally, the Academy team. The Academy lads were in action up at Station Park in Forfar on Friday afternoon, where they faced off against the Rangers. I'm happy to report that the good guys won the game 1-0 with a goal from Lennon Walker. And according to the Dode Fox podcast's very own The Stig, I'm reliably informed that we were denied a stonewall penalty. Of course we were. The Rangers goalie had a stunning save during the game to keep the score down. But the best thing of all about that whole afternoon was that after the match, the Rangers bus wouldn't start. Absolutely lovely. So I'm not sure who the young lad's next game is against, but I'm hoping that the Stig keeps in touch and keeps me informed. Many thanks to the Stig. And Ronnie doesn't even ken why he is, and that's the way it'll stay. You're welcome.
Moving on, the United Futures Lottery jackpot's £1,500 this week. The Elite 50-50 match day draw was £153 first prize yesterday. Ticket number 104313 and £51 second prize to ticket number 104333. You can sign up and get the details at unitedlottery.co.uk, and remember, all the proceeds go to support our academy. I've got, before we do Who Am I, the standout feature now of this podcast, I've got a wee exclusive for you. Now, the club are going to be looking for video questions. You know how we've done this with Luke Bolton and stuff, with the new players? So we're going to be looking for video questions for fans, particularly young fans, to hear what they want to know from the latest additions to the squad. Like, what would Leo ask someone like Yando, or what would young Cameron ask Mark McNulty or stuff. So it's we're looking for some of the more younger fans to get in touch and do it. There should hopefully be details to follow on United's socials from today, Monday, about how to get the videos into the club. And that should be pretty cool. You know, if you've got a young one that's Football Daft, United Daft, and would like to ask some of the newer players a question, any question you like, and then follow United socials for details how they got sent in. And it's something they're hoping to get out pretty soon, which could be quite cool.
What would you ask Yando?
Ooh, what would I ask him? I don't know, because I'd be quite interested. I mean, it's a pretty boring question, but kind of how was quarantine? Coming over to a new country for 2 weeks, that's tough going.
No, you're right. That was a boring question.
Yeah, and also,
Bairns are not going to ask that.
And also, what is it like? What is it like playing with the Scottish and mostly Scottish players and stuff? Because it's something he wouldn't, accent stuff like that. So that'd be quite interesting. As Bairns, I'm not sure what Bairns would even ask. Do you know Lawrence Shankland? Probably.
Do you know Lawrence Shankland? Have you tried Stovies? Stuff like that. Have you had a macaroni pie with mustard?
Why would you?
Standard questions.
Why would you? Why would you have that?
Well, I wouldn't. But you could always ask somebody.
Bogging that. But yeah, so any young Arabs, if you've got a wee one that listens, do keep an eye on that, and you can get them to ask just video themselves, wee clip, send it in, and they'll hopefully it'll get used down the line on some of the DUTV stuff, which is all pretty cool. Right, let's turn our attention to Who Am I?
What's the scores?
9-all at the minute.
9-all. Right.
So I basically need Paul to hear Duff in the day and no get anything right. So the rules.
Stuart Duff.
Behave yourself. The rules.
Could have got 10 points for guessing it before you've even asked the question there.
The rules, if you play by them, which everyone should, you have to have made 50 appearances for United, and you have to have played at a time the other person has seen them. So I have to pick a player from probably late 80s onwards for Paul, and for Paul to pick for me, it's from 91 onwards. So it's 9-all at the minute. There's 5 clues. You get it correct on the first one, you get 5 points. Second, 4 points. Third, 3 points. Fourth clue, 2 points. Last clue, 1 point. And my hope today is he doesn't get it at all, and it's a big 0. Are you ready?
Yes.
Who was it last week again?
Paul Ritchie.
Paul Ritchie. Hopeless. But let's see what today brings, eh? Clue number 1, 5 points. This player was a Scotland schools and youth international by the time he made his first team debut for United as a substitute against Hearts in May 1997. Bear in mind you're thinking about this. People didn't like when it's done on the first clue because it ruins it for Abdi. I'm just leaving that in there for you.
Nah, there's absolutely no danger. I'm going to be getting on the first 1997. Scotland International. 97. Struggling a bit here. Right, so that people didn't start switching off, I'll foolishly guess.
You could just move on.
Craig Easton.
Craig Easton, lock it in. 5
Locked
points. Nah, it's not Craig
Nah,
Easton.
they were near it.
Clue number 2 for 4 points. Skiffy, he was selected for the Scotland under-21 side soon after, and he was part of the United side that won the 96-97 Youth League before he made his full starting debut on my birthday, the 17th of August, 1997. So he made his debut as a sub in May, he made his full debut in August.
What was the start of that question again?
He was selected for the Scotland under-21 side soon after, and he was part of the United side that won the 96-97 Youth League before making his full starting debut on the 17th of August, 97.
17th of August, 97.
I was 15 that day.
Fuck.
It's no Yando Fuchs, if that's what you're trying to say there. Fuch.
No.
It's not him.
No.
It's not him.
I don't have a clue. Stephen Thompson?
Stephen Thompson for 4 points. Correct.
Stephen Thompson! Get in!
Stephen Thompson.
13-9. Up ya!
Clue number 3. He made 163 appearances, scoring 32 goals. No, a great return.
No, I wouldn't have thought striker.
Clue 4, earned 7 of his 16 international caps while with United. And then sold on New Year's Day 2003 with Billy Dodds returning as part of the deal.
Yeah, definitely would have got it on that. Superb.
Arsehole.
You know what? And this is the honest truth. It was between Thompson and Easton on the first answer as well. And I thought, Easton? Surely Thompson didn't play for Scotland youths that young because he was honking.
He would.
But, I'll take that.
I never ever thought he was a great player.
When he was with us, he played for us for a good few years, and I would say he was poor until about the last half a season when he was with us, and he was quite good, and then he wanted to go to Rangers.
He finished top scorer that season, even though he left in January.
That says more about the team than it does about him.
Indeed it does. Right, on this day, in association with the Arab Archive, preserving the history of Dundee United Football Club since 2006. It's just 4 matches the day, but they're good ends. They are good ends. We begin 1974, and it was nae Duke Blanahooli at Gayfield.
Standard.
Previous podcast guest Andy Gray put United in front after 16 minutes with a brilliant goal. Andy Rowland headed into the crowded penalty area, and Gray was on spot to wheel round and beat Marshall. Arbroath's John Fletcher rounded McAlpine and equalised 10 minutes later. Then a headed pass by Andy Gray to Josh Fleming led to United's second, which Fleming fairly thumped home. Arbroath fought hard, but any lingering hopes of a point were wrecked when substitute Tommy Traynor scampered down the right wing and crossed for Gray to head in a third. 1983 is next. We gained revenge against Standard Liège, the club that eliminated us from the UEFA Cup 5 years previous. Ralph Milne scored 2 in the first half before turning provider for Paul Hegarty 6 minutes in the second half before Davy Dodds scored the fourth as we ran out 4-0 winners at Tannadice in the European Cup second round, second leg. 1996 we head to Paul. It was debut day for 2 players. Lars Zetterlund made his debut that day. Do you know who else made his debut that day? In goal.
In goal. O'Hanlon?
No, and he'll never be on Who Am I? He was shite.
Key?
Yes.
Lance Key?
Lance Key.
He was shite, I'll give you that.
So Lance Key and Lars Zetterlund made their debuts. The Swedes' presence in midfield meant United had 3 Scandinavians in their ranks for the first time since the mid-60s, and their initial impact was no less emphatic than their fellow countrymen from over 3 decades earlier. as a Scandinavian-inspired United dominated the match. Kjell Olofsson headed us in front in the 56th minute. Then just 1 minute later, and it's on the Arab Archive, it's the only goal that's on it for this day. Go and watch it, right? It's an absolute beauty. Ray McKinnon, who was brilliant on the day, it's just a great goal. He wins possession on the left touchline, dribbles inside, plays a wee 1-2 for wee Gary McSwagan, and then pings it outside of the left boot, top bins. It's phenomenal. It's a great goal. Absolute great goal. At that stage, Motherwell were on the point of being overrun, but a goal out the blue hauled the home side back into the game before Robbie Winters, on as a substitute, completed the scoring as it finished. Motherwell 1, Dundee United 3. Honestly, I watched the goal about 5 times this morning. It's brilliant. Check out. 2019 brought a top of the table clash in the Championship. There were 2 changes from the side that defeated Partick in midweek. Big Troizo was still sidelined. Paul Watson was drafted into the back 4, allowing Callum Butcher a step forward into midfield. The other alteration was Louis Yappery, who replaced the injured Peter Pollitt after only 3 minutes of the Partick game previously. Paul McMillan was making his 100th appearance for United. He drilled the ball across the goal, only for Sean Rooney's attempt to clearance to end up on the roof of his own net. It was a great finish, that.
Was a great finish.
In the 72nd minute, the lead was doubled. Butcher played the ball in Nicky Clark's path. He crashed home a right-footed angle shot from 12 yards, and the big Arab supporter had hardly stopped singing when the visitors added a third. Lawrence Shanklin was not to be denied from the penalty spot after Liam Smith was bundled over by Mel Story in the box. It finished Inverness 0, United 3. Or was it 3-1? Can't mind. Anyway, we won the game. 3-0.
That was a great day. It was absolutely belting it down the rain. We got the train all the way up.
There was a pitch inspection at 12:30.
There was a pitch inspection before we just got into the Inverness station, so we were fearing the worst. And then when we pulled into the station, the game was on. So I think we ended up on a big minibus or a taxi thing to get about 10 out of the game. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Great day. Great performance.
Good scran.
Great scran, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Plus we went to I think it was a Witherspoon's pub beforehand.
A 2-mealer.
It was a 2-mealer, but I had to take a hit for the team. I had to do it because I was really into the Scrandesliga back then. These days I would just pie it off and say, nah, it's all right, somebody else could do it.
Purchase it.
But yeah. But it was I'm sure it was like a good 8 out of 10 pie up in Inverness. And 3 points as well. And, can't beat it.
No.
When your team wins, you can't beat it.
No, it makes things a lot easier. Have we missed anything today? We covered all bases?
I think we have. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Just want to, again, reiterate, if anybody's got any decent ideas for how fans can help with the current financial difficulties that the club are going through, either come up with an idea yourselves and we'll get behind it, or send it in to us if you wanted to get a wee bit more exposure. But we've got to do something. We've got to do something. That's my main takeaway from the news midweek.
Yeah, I mean, we'll certainly throw our weight, our voice and whatever else behind MD's campaign that gets up and running. You can certainly rely on our support for it as well. If there's, we were looking at daft ideas, is there anything we could we sell a t-shirt, can we sell a mug, can we sell anything? But realistically, I think it's just about getting a wee bit of coin out and doing it. Listen, I understand that supporters have done more than enough this year. If they're no bought a season ticket, they're buying pay-per-view, and the amount of shirts that we've seen sold and stuff like that. It's we're all really missing that coming together at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. I mean, ideally I'd like you in at 2:15, but it's, we'll go past that. We'll certainly back anything that comes out of it, and it's got legs to run, and we'll no sit back and let it go. We'll certainly be there all through it and do as much as we can to help, which is the main thing.
Right. Yes.
St Covid FC are next on Friday. I actually thought it was a home, but it's away. For some reason I thought it was at home, but when it comes out, if you can avoid all those dodgy ways of watching games, and you can buy things to help clubs in this current situation, it's great. St Mirren are the same as United. We're all going through tough times. We don't want any clubs to disappear, especially some of the smaller clubs. I mean, Paul, you're speaking earlier about Forfar, Montrose and Arbroath, and the other games, being the Championship was like, but they're local to us. They're clubs would like, and pre-season to Brecon, Forfar, and all these. They were all the stuff. Didn't get us wrong. Watching a game at Arbroath's horrendous, but they're a great wee club. They're a great wee club. We want to see all these kind of teams still going and whatever else. And I think Scottish football as a whole, like you say, all the clubs really need to get together and do something. And listen, the fans are going to be huge importance to it. Some of the other fans can laugh it off things that have come out this week, but hey, we're on the same boat. There's no a fucking endless pot of money, to spend. I don't think that goes for any club at the minute. But first and foremost, Friday night, 3 points to the away team is what we're looking for. Let's keep the hard work and the tempo up as well. How do you think we're going to get on? Do let us know on social media. We are at Dode Fox Podcast. Do have a fantastic week. We didn't mention the podcast shop. There's still some stock in there before the bobble hat Tammy thingamabob will be out in a couple of weeks. There's still face masks, snoods and that, because you still need to be wearing a mask. And of course, the most important information that the Scottish Government should be telling you is wash your hands and your arsehole.